make concerts happen.
The rock world just fell silent. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, has passed away at the age of 76. He survived decades of addiction, near-death accidents, and a lifetime of chaos. A man once believed to be untouchable. But like all legends, Ozzy too has reached his final curtain, quietly, surrounded by his family. But you know what? This isn't just a farewell to a rock icon, it's the end of an empire and the beginning of a haunting question: who truly inherits everything he left behind? The statement released by the family was signed by Sharon Osbourne, his wife of over 40 years, his lover, his manager, the woman he betrayed, yet the one who stayed until the very end. And among all the heartfelt words, there was one lie. We ask for privacy as the family settles everything.
What does that mean?
A fortune worth over $220 million, global music royalties, the Osbourne brand, TV rights, unreleased material, an entire legacy crafted over half a century. And within that legacy lies a single question: was Ozzy's final will a love letter to Sharon or a strategic transfer of power? Because in the world of rock and millions, love and money often share the same stage. But only one walks away with the spotlight. Long before the fame, the chaos, and the millions, Ozzy Osbourne was just a boy from Birmingham. He struggled with poverty, dropped out of school, battled dyslexia, got arrested for petty crimes. No one believed he'd become anything, let alone a legend.
But music saved him, and then Sharon found him.
You might know her as the wife, but in the world of entertainment, she's known as the mastermind behind the Osbourne empire. She wasn't just his partner. Sharon was his manager, protector, negotiator, and the one who cleaned up his disasters. From record deals to TV contracts, from tour bookings to brand licensing, she handled it all, and Ozzy let her. In interviews, he once said,
"Sharon saved my life and she owns all of it too." That quote hits differently now.
Sources close to the family suggest that Ozzy's final will left the bulk of his estate under Sharon's control. Not just because of love, but because she already held the keys to everything for decades. The Osbourne children. Some are mentioned. But insiders claim Sharon's name dominates the paperwork. She was the gatekeeper, the strategist, the only person Ozzy ever truly trusted and feared. So was it loyalty? Was it guilt? Or was it just business wrapped in the language of love? In the end, Ozzy's legacy isn't just measured in platinum records. It's in who he gave the power to. When the music finally stopped. Their love story was never simple. Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne weren't the fairy tale couple. They were chaos, fire, scandal, and, somehow, loyalty. Over their 40-plus years together, Ozzy broke Sharon's heart more than once. The most public betrayal came in 2016, when he admitted to a long-term affair. She moved out. The world thought it was over. But here's the twist: she came back. Not because she was weak, but because she knew Ozzy better than anyone. And maybe because she knew exactly what she was coming back to protect. Sharon didn't just forgive him. She reclaimed control of his schedule, his business, his health. And Ozzy? He didn't resist. He let her lead. On stage, off stage, and in every legal document that would later matter. Behind closed doors, the Osbournes weren't just rebuilding a marriage, they were securing a legacy. Insiders say that in the years after their reconciliation, Sharon rewrote most of Ozzy's business structure. She ensured royalties flowed through her companies, she managed every licensing deal, and when Ozzy's health declined, she was the one making medical decisions and financial ones. Some say it was love, others say it was strategy. But here's what no one can deny. Ozzy could have chosen anyone. He chose Sharon again and again. When the end came, she wasn't just holding his hand, she was holding the empire. On the surface, it all looked peaceful. Ozzy's farewell was global, the will was signed. Sharon stood tall, composed, grieving, in control. But behind closed doors, something far more complex was unfolding. Ozzy Osbourne had 5 biological children, 2 from his first marriage, 3 with Sharon, and 1 he chose to love like his own, Elliot Kingsley, Thelma's son from a previous relationship. 6 children, yet only one person held the keys to his empire. Insiders say Sharon was the sole executor. Her name is everywhere. Well, contracts, companies, rights. Kelly and Jack, mentioned. Amy, the daughter who never sought the spotlight, barely. Jessica and Louis, his firstborns, almost invisible. Elliot, not a word. It wasn't just a will, it was a reflection of who had access and who was locked out. Some say it was Ozzy's choice. Others say Sharon managed every signature, every file, every clause, long before any of them could ask questions. You see, in grief, silence is expected, but when millions are at stake, silence often means war. And so a quiet divide formed, not on stage, but around boardrooms, bank accounts, and bloodlines. Because in the Osbourne legacy, love wasn't the only thing inherited, so was resentment. And sometimes the most painful riffs are played not on guitars, but between family. It happened on July 5th. One last stage, one last city. Villa Park, Birmingham, where the legend was born, and where he chose to let it all end. Ozzy knew it wasn't just a concert. So did Sharon. She called it his full stop, the moment he'd say goodbye, not with speeches, but with sound.
If you saw him that night, you'd understand. This wasn't the man who bit bats or lit fires. This was someone burning from the inside out and still refusing to fade.
Every movement was measured. The tremors were visible. Parkinson's had been quietly robbing him for years. His 2003 accident had left damage that never truly healed. And yet he sang. Not because he had to, because he needed to. Each note was heavy, not with pain, but with memory. Each lyric in a farewell only his voice could deliver.
Fans didn't cheer like they used to. They watched, like witnesses to something sacred, something final.
And when the last chord hit, Ozzy paused, then lifted his hand, slowly, deliberately, as if to say,
I have nothing left, but thank you. No encore, no dramatic ending, just a legend giving everything he had left. He took us on the stage where it all began.
You didn't need to hear his last words. You already did. They were sung into the silence between two notes and left echoing long after the lights went out. Ozzy Osbourne is gone, but the silence he left behind is louder than ever. For over 5 decades, he redefined what it meant to be loud, not just in music, but in life. He made chaos beautiful. He made imperfection unforgettable.
And now what remains? It's not just sound, it's ownership, legacy, power.
There's no question, Sharon Osbourne now holds the crown. She was there when the empire was built, brick by brick, and she was still there when Ozzy took his final bow. She didn't just inherit his wealth, she inherited his image, his story, his rights, the music, the brand, the myth. It all runs through her now. Some call it fitting, others call it calculated. But love, real love, is rarely clean. It's complicated, layered, brutal. And Sharon stayed through every relapse, every betrayal, every fall from grace. Maybe that's what Ozzy rewarded, or maybe that's what she earned. His children remain, some silent, some distant. Fans continue to mourn, to celebrate, to argue. Tributes pour in. Playlists loop endlessly. But one truth cuts through it all. Ozzy didn't leave behind just songs. He left behind the right to tell his story.
And now that story belongs to Sharon.
So when the spotlight fades and the final chords disappear into the dark, you're left with one final question, one that no lawyer or will can answer. Did Ozzy Osbourne truly choose who would carry his legacy? Or did his legacy choose for him?
If you were in Ozzy's shoes, who would you have trusted with your legacy? Be honest.